Kevin McCullough.
All right, friends, it's so good to have you with us, and I want to thank you for being a faithful audience every weekend. I have been approached by one of the networks that carry us, the Salem News Channel, about adding a kind of new opportunity to take That Kevin Show maybe to daytime for your weekends. And so just a programming note. We are looking at adding maybe a 1 or 2 hour additional opportunity to be together on Saturday and Sunday mornings on the Salem News Channel, and I think that would be exciting and quite different. Those of you that are used to us being with you on Saturday nights, don't worry. 2 great networks, television networks, 300 plus radio stations across the country. And the most syndicated and the most listened to weekend broadcast in America, period. End of discussion. We are grateful to be with you. I am also grateful, and I'm very grateful for the new opportunity. I think that's going to be exciting, and I'll tell you more about it. We're starting to look at sets and figure out what features should be included and so forth. But it's going to be exciting, and I look forward to that. I am also grateful that over the last 3 weeks, our efforts with Food for the Poor have just exploded. We went from having very few children fed for the next year from where we started. We went from 0, and we were at still less than 50 just a few weeks ago. And now, because of your intentional involvement, more than 160 children will not go hungry in 2025 that live in Central and South America, in the most impoverished countries on the planet: Haiti, Guatemala, El Salvador. These are places where the children die every day by the dozens because of malnutrition, because of not having food, because of just being at a place where they just, they don't have any resources. There's no federal government. There's no Kamala Harris starting some sort of socialist Marxist feeding program that would cover them. None of that exists. There is no Medicare. There's no welfare. There's no Medicaid. There's barely governments that have any infrastructure. And my friends at Food for the Poor, for many years now, well over 40 years in 17 of these countries, in the poorest spots, stepped up and said, we can do something about this. And through the generosity of Americans like you, they have been extremely successful. In fact, I need to allocate some time at some point to tell you some stories of some of the kids that have been fed and what they have done. Many of them thriving, going on and getting educations and coming back and helping the very neighborhoods that they grew up in. It's a real success story. But for those 160 kids, I am just nothing but deeply, deeply grateful. And I want to say thank you to you for being generous and saying that for a one-time gift of $80 next year, one of those children that are on that list of 600 will not go hungry. In fact, not only will they not go hungry, they will receive 2 meals per day, rice, beans, some important nutrients, sometimes some chicken protein, some chicken broth for flavor. There's other things that are involved in this recipe, but this specific recipe designed for children that are malnourished is going to satiate them, and they're going to be able to not worry about where their next meal is coming from, when many of these children that we're talking about, and we're talking about exclusively the poorest of the poor, many of these children that we're talking about will go up to 24, 48, 72 hours without having a meal that looks like a meal. I'm not including if they boil some tree bark and they're able to choke it down. That, to me, that's not a meal. They may put something in their system to try to satiate whatever, pray that their system digests it and doesn't ruin them for it. But that is the plight of orphan and underfed children all across the globe. Up to 72 hours in between anything that looks like an actual meal, actual food, actual sustenance. But because of your partnership in this, now 160 of those 600 kids will be fed twice a day, every day for the next year. And that's over 700 meals that you've delivered for a one-time gift of $80. Now, what does that mean? Well, that means that 440 of those children were not taken care of. And that means that starting in January, 440 of these children, their lives will be on the line. And we don't know what they're able to sustain. We don't know if they're going to be able to make it through another day or week or month, much less a full year, not having a very important nutritionally based feeding program that's designed for their bodies specifically. So here's what I want you to do. 855-349-4673. This is the last night that I'm going to be able to talk about this in this context, because we have other things to do between now and the end of the year. Very exciting things that I'm looking forward to. But this is the last night, and I don't want to end leaving 440 children hanging in the balance. I don't want them wondering. I don't want their parent wondering, will they be able to survive another year? For a simple gift of $80, one of those children can be removed from that list. And friends, if you do it tonight, we have a very generous matching donor that's going to step up and match your gift dollar for dollar. It's very exciting. So if we got 220 of those children fed, actually all 440 would be cared for. But we need your help to accomplish that right now. Maybe you have the ability to do something very grand. Maybe you could do a 10-kid gift at $800. Or maybe you say, you know what, for the next year, I'm just going to take $80 every month, and I'm going to allocate it. And every month we're going to take a child off that list and give that child a full year's worth of food from that month forward. Whatever works best for your budget, whatever works best for the way you can handle it, please do so. The phone number again, 855-349-4673, 855-349-4673. And a lot of you have given online at instagood.org, Insta, INSTAGOOD.
Stick around for more of That Kevin. Next, That Kevin Show with Kevin McCullough.